Well, I'm back. Another video, another me, another day. I know. What are we sharing about today? It's technically Thursday. You're gonna see on Friday. Yes, you're gonna see it on Friday. But it's technically Thursday night. So it's the day before the last day of the week. It's a beautiful thing. A beautiful feeling. To be honest. I feel like this week was actually passing by pretty fast in a good way. In a very good way. I wanted to bring back me doing the half marathon this year and whatever I went through mentally, spiritually, you know, all those little things. It was fun for the most part. There's something beautiful about just pushing your limits and just believing into you doing a lot more that you think you can do. And really, if it is for yourself only, you're gonna be motivated, but for a short while. That's what I've realized. It's the same thing for me going onto the health journey where I was focusing so much on me looking like somebody or just looking like the person that I was before and really focusing myself on the physical part versus the mental and versus the spiritual part. And that's really the thing that can be shallow because at some point you're gonna just lose that motivation because it's not deep enough. It's never about you looking like a freaking top model or superstar. Of course, it's a desire that is mostly for us, but on the long run, you gotta think about it in such a deeper level where it becomes a lifestyle, not only something that is temporary. And I think it's the same that can be applied to the half marathon that I did this year because the first thought that I had, even into just planning and just exercising and then getting into the training of just being able to run, there was no way for me to even start that journey. No way. I was focusing I was literally focusing myself onto losing the weight, being just a lot more better physically, and all those shallow stuff. That's how I call it. Of course, it's a good part, but there's that part, like I say, that it's really good for the short term. And at the beginning, that's how I was thinking about the whole thing. And I remember the first idea coming to even doing it was talking with my boyfriend because he was running before me. So it's something that was not new to him. I'm the person that was used to go to the gym, lifting the weight or doing any type of movement, exercising where I could move my body, right? Dancing is one of my favorite activities because of it, because I can be in movement and I can actually just enjoy the art of dancing and not necessarily think about me actually doing the exercise. The same thing can be applied to me going to the gym where I'm lifting the weight and I'm doing anything that just refrain me from doing any type of cardio exercise. That's how I call it. I was running away from it, literally speaking. So for me to even start the activity and just having the idea of doing the half marathon was like 22 kilometers. No. And it was like a year before when we did that this year, because we did that on September, if I remember. And when we started thinking about it was last year around, I think it was around the end of the year, something like that. Was it? Maybe a little bit before the end of the year. But I was at that point where I never ran for my life, right? So even thinking about doing 3 kilometers was just painful enough for me to even think about it. It was really hard for me. And then we started running. The first couple of times it was painful. I'm not even gonna lie. It was painful because it's the point where you don't even understand what your body is doing, and your body is shocked because it doesn't understand what you're trying to do to him. So it's kind of just fighting his way out of it, and it's just like, leave me alone. Can I do something else? But not that. So let's say the first time I did my first 3 kilometers, I was not ready to do that again. My body went into a shock. When I said a shock, it's just like I reacted. Like my body reacted. And I was at a point where I was like, I'm never gonna be able to even get to the 5 kilometers. Like even the 3 kilometers was too much for me. Even the first 1 kilometer was too much for me. Even actually running my first 15 minutes, I remember I was like, what is going on? So to me, getting from doing nothing, zero in terms of running, and getting to just do the half marathon this year, it took me a year to prepare, and it took me a year to actually achieve it, and I did it. And a lot of things that I can say here is really about, again, the mental and the spiritual level again here. Because whatever you say, whatever you feel that you can do, you never know what you can do unless you actually do it. And when you do it, you need to push as far as you can go, and then you're gonna start seeing where you can go and where you actually can improve. And I read it somewhere not so long ago that when you feel like you are pushing your limits, any effort, exercise, and any activity that actually pushing you because you're not used to it, when you feel or just having that message coming from your brain saying that you can't do that no more, it's too much for you, you're not gonna be able to handle it, if you do even a tiny more of that, you're just gonna be dead for good, you actually at 40% of your capacity. That's when your brain is literally feel like you're gonna die. Like it literally rushing you with a lot of messaging about you stopping it right now, because it's just the panicking mode there. It's like, no, 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 I don't know what's going on, I can't I can't do that, I can't handle it. So you gotta understand that you're not even at the half of your capacity. And when I heard that, I was so fascinated and so shocked and so surprised, because this is how I felt literally my first 3 kilometers that I was running the first time. I definitely was sure that I couldn't do it. And even the timing at some point, because you have to kind of time yourself, because you have a limit, where you have a limit per minute when you're running, when you're doing the marathon and half marathon, when you get into the competition, because they're not gonna wait for you the whole day or for 2 days to get to the point, right? So they give you that limitation, and it's for you to kind of just adjust to it. And when you're preparing, you actually exercising to kind of just timing that, right? So every time I was timing my minutes per kilometer, I was getting to a point where I was like, I can't go faster than that. There's no way for me. And of course, there's a lot more of the technical part that you need to kind of start to understand more into how you run, the shape that you have when you run, how you actually when you actually have how you set up your body, how you set up your legs, and all those technical, to me, I feel like they come after, because you have to start first and see where you have to go and where you need to improve. But where I really saw the biggest change into even me finishing that half marathon from zero a year ago to the 22 kilometers and really being able to achieve and finish that was definitely my spiritual mental level, because I was not thinking about losing the weight anymore only. I was not thinking about just achieving something physically, where I was just being shallow on me looking like somebody specific, physically speaking. I was so focused in the mental, and I think I did touch a bit about it yesterday when I was talking about just keep when I was talking about offering your pain and everything to God. Every single time that you're feeling like you are in that situation when you can't handle a lot of things anymore, where all the challenges, they come at you like a freaking big weight, they just come and hit you, you're not prepared for that. And when you start just offering it to God a lot more, you start seeing that peace. And even in the worst situation where you feel like you just can't do that anymore, He's gonna do it for you, right? He's gonna do it with you. You're not gonna be alone. And there was that particular time when I was running. I remember that day I was doing my rosary, and I took that habit of just doing my rosary when I was running, and it's something that is so beautiful and so peaceful. And it's that channel that I've been following for months and months and months now. It's that black Catholic chick. and she is amazing. Her name is Roxy. She's a Catholic, Black Catholic, as you can imagine, based on the name of the channel. She lives in the United States, and she is all about her Catholic faith, and she's sharing it, and she's a fitness coach. So she really is able to integrate all the coaching part, the fitness part, and basing herself into the theology of the body by St. John Paul. And she is managing to bring that into her Catholic faith and integrate all the part into the spiritual, the mental, and the physical level part, the physical like layers. And I found it so beautiful because again, I was looking for a way for me to kind of always keep it to just glorify Jesus all the time. And she made that rosary that is perfect when you do any type of exercise. When you're going to the gym, you can listen to it. When you're running, you can listen to it. When you're exercising, because it has that a beat mode. So you are feeling like you are a soldier of Christ. You are going for it. Like you are feeling, you are in the movement. You're feeling everything. And all those sensations that I was feeling when I was doing my rosary, when running, when I was feeling tired, when I was feeling exhausted, I was feeling like I couldn't do that anymore. I remember that day, exactly that day where I was running. It was not far from my place, and we were doing the same road that we were used to do. And at some point, I asked myself, and that's something that I was doing before, the simple question. And that is a question that you should have whenever you feel like you're pushing your limits and you feel like you just can't do that anymore, you can't handle that anymore, you feel like it's too much for you. You can't. You there. You feel like it is your limits. The simple question is always the what if. It's a magical trick or a magical question, I don't know, but by genuinely asking yourself that question in that moment where you are getting into, I'm doing that, I'm not doing that, I can't run no more, I'm not feeling my legs no more, what is going on with my body, why did I decide to do it, am I crazy? What is going on here? And this is that part on the road that we usually were taking to run that I call the river of misery, because it's the same parts, the same exact road and part where I always had that down of energy all of a sudden. Like, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. 2-3 kilometers in, I'm good. Like, it really takes me usually 3 to 4 kilometers to start adjusting, understanding where my body is exactly, where my energy level is, and how much I can handle for the rest of the run. So if I decide to, let's say, do the 8 kilometers, I know usually after 2 to 3 kilometers how good I can go and how great I can go for the rest. But if I'm feeling my body is really dying at the 2-3, it doesn't mean that I'm done and that I have no energy left and that I want to stop. It just means that the body just sends you those signals, like I said, where it feels like you are doing too much and you are getting to the limits. And in reality, you're not. It's just the panicking, I would say the panicking signal of your body trying to kind of protect you from nothing, because you actually have a lot of energy left in storage. But at that point, the point that I call the river of misery is always at that point that it happens to me, always. And when I get through that and I really focus myself onto Jesus and to the cross, and having that scene where it's literally when he is on the cross, the last scene when he's getting crucified and he's literally about to die, and I have Our Lady here, the Virgin Mary, and I have the Apostle here, I always feel like focusing on that vision, exact vision, give me so much more energy, because this is where I'm giving everything. I'm really keeping offering the pain, the lack of energy, the why am I doing, what am I doing, why am I even here, and all those complaints. I just keep offering, I keep offering, and I don't know how, I don't even know how to explain that, because at some point, from getting to have no energy, it goes back up at such a level where it actually gets better than how I was before. And I remember that day where I would always go through that part, like mentally speaking, where I was just done after 3 kilometers and I couldn't handle that anymore. But I just was aware of the fact that it was just a momentum here. My body was trying to panic, and I was like, let it go, let it go. Don't try to hold on to it. Don't try to have the control over it. And definitely don't panic, because it's just going to be worse. And I was genuinely, like, with all of my energy, giving to Jesus. And I'm kidding you not, I didn't even feel the part where I was tired, exhausted after those 3 kilometers. That where I have that drop. So that river of misery never happened. Even the part of the road where I'm usually, I know, I see that part, I'm like, here you go, here you go. We die here, we're gonna die here, we're gonna die here. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I kept that energy just flowing, and it literally got back up. I couldn't understand what was going on. I was amazed. I was running. I was feeling, I was like a cyborg, a machine. I was feeling great. I was feeling light. And I'm not saying that I was not tired. I was feeling that tiredness, but somebody else was carrying everything with me. And that's something that I'm saying, where you're starting to losing the control and let go of everything and just embrace everything that happens, and you feel like you just can't handle it. Don't try to handle it. Don't try. Let it go. Because our reaction usually is just to resist even more, right? When you see a danger, you feel like there's a danger in front of you, you resist because you're protecting yourself, and that's all natural. We all do that. I do that, right? And those moments where I'm feeling more aware of me not being alone, and just thinking about God, and thinking about that confidence and that courage and that energy and all of the things that He can give me if I just let go, and that He can take the rest and take care of that and carry that with me, the opposite happened. Like, it's just a magic trick. I call it a magic trick. And it starts with the magic question of the what if. What if I let that go? What if I just embrace the moment? What if I just trust Him? Right? That goes on every layers of your life. With this Advent, there's a lot of question about the trust. For me, I know it's a lot more about the trust than what He can give me, because He can give a lot to everyone because He loves us so much, but it's up to us to open the door. That's the thing that I've been saying for a couple of days now. But every year, it's a moment for you to open that door. And you got to open that door every day, right? You're saying yes every day. And with the marathon happening, me doing it, I realized that it's not my own strength that can get me to achieve things beyond what I even dreamed that I can do. It's me trusting Him. And when I was going through my session, because I'm getting ready to get confirmed in a couple of weeks probably. My mentor at church, we were talking, going through the sessions, and just understanding the depth of what it is to be a Christian and getting through the confirmation and all of that. We were talking about Christians and non-Christians. And like he was saying, is that God created us all. No matter if you're not a Christian and that you're not even aware of God, right? You're not even aware of the Christian God, I would say so. We are all being created by the same God, because there's just one God. Now, my question was more into what then is the difference between us Christians and the rest, because God technically loves us all, right? We getting those graces even when we are not that close to Him. It's gonna be different as a Christian because you have that fullness of the truth. Usually you have the fullness of that clarity most of the time, and especially in the Catholic faith, when you start educating yourself, deepening your faith, deepening your knowledge about your faith, you realize the fullness of the truth is in the Catholic Church. Now, when we have non-Christians and people that obviously could believe in other gods, other elements of the universe and the universe itself sometimes, what is the difference? Because we all are creatures of God. And what is said, and I'm simplifying the question here because I do know a part of the answer, but we were talking about things that were a little bit more specific. So us as Christian, receiving the grace, receiving the blessings through our baptism, through the communion, through the confirmation, through the marriage, which is a covenant as Christians, what is the meaning of all of that, right? And the biggest difference that he said was that for us Christians, when it comes to the belief, we're not doing it alone. First of all, we're doing it with Jesus, and instead of relying on us, relying on our own strength only, we have the divine love with the divine energy. I would say, I don't like to call it energy, I hate it, but we have the God that is divine. So we have that extra super strength that is given to us as Christians because we get to participate in all of that through our baptism, which is the door that is opening for us to get into the family, right, of the church and the fullness of the truth. So we're not doing that alone, and we're relying onto the divine strength, and that makes everything that we do, every actions, every job that you do, every career that you do, every activity that you do, gets you to have that divine strength, the extra strength that us alone we just can't. No matter what we do, no matter how many times you're gonna go to the gym, no matter how many books you're gonna be reading, no matter how much of knowledge that you think that you may have, that divine strength is for God only, and is willing to give it to us, and it doesn't have to give it to us, being the people and just the humans that we are, but he still is willing to give us all of those graces. And by realizing that that difference is really into that divine, and the extra on top of our own strength, we can't achieve anything by ourselves. And that's where being humble comes into play as a Christian, because you know that you can't rely on yourself only. You know that you're not alone. You know that you're surrounded no matter where you are, no matter what you do, right? And that gives you the strength. And that it's something that I realized through preparing myself for the marathon and pushing that limit to where I think or I thought that I couldn't achieve it. Because the knowledge that I have for me, that the knowledge that I have of me is so limited to the knowledge that God has for me because he created me. And whatever he gave to me was for a purpose. Now it's our work to kind of cooperate, have the cooperation and the collaboration to say yes, and to say yes to the invitation into just being so close to him that everything is just gonna be perfectly aligned, right? No matter what you do, regardless of what you do. That's the start. And that's why I kind of sought to understand that integration from just not talking about the confidence in that just superficial way, that's how I call it, but relying into God's love, God's trust, and the divine part of it as God, the God that we know, that we love, being a Christian. So that's something that I wanted to share today. I hope it made sense for you. I hope it made sense to you. I'm always happy to kind of share more because I feel more and more confident into sharing that part of me that I used to kind of hide a little bit, a lot, especially like when I started this channel, this new way channel, because I talk a lot about the creativity, a lot about the confidence, a lot about just being good online, having a good voice, being confident in front of the video, and everything is actually related and connected. This is the time where I'm sharing more onto the personal level to kind of show you the journey of what I am taking as a Christian, as a Catholic, deepening my own faith, deepening my own knowledge about God, my own relationship about Jesus, to be able to help anybody out there, right? If you're creative, you want to be online, you want to have a beautiful voice online, you want to find your mission, your purpose, your uniqueness, it all comes down to that. It all comes down to building that relationship first. And I've been a lot more ashamed before to show that, because nothing made sense if it was not from God first. And the more I'm talking about confidence with God behind it, the more everything just start connecting. And I know it's not working the same way for everybody, but here I'm really, really, really good with not necessarily having to talk to anyone, everyone, but talking to people that feel connected and they feel like whatever that I'm sharing here resonates with them. So if you're proud of it, great. And if you're not, well, I'm hoping that you're gonna have the patience of an understanding my journey here if you still want to stick around, right? But something else I wanted to share is that I'm seeing a lot more people and newer people on the channel subscribing. I'm so grateful for it. Like, I have no idea. I started this challenge of just being there and showing my face unscripted in not a way where I was trying to collect a lot of people or just having more subscribers, although obviously I had that in my mind, but seeing people actually being interested in my unscripted self kind of gives me more confidence too into showing myself and not having to be in control all of the time of everything that I'm gonna be saying and every word that I'm gonna be saying, because I clearly overthink about a lot of things, especially because English is not my first language. So there's always those thoughts onto, oh, am I saying it right? Does it even make sense? But I'm actually happy that you guys are just lovely enough to subscribe here and to kind of tolerate me, tolerate my accent and everything that comes with it. Even my little craziness, depending of the moment and the days as well. But all of that to say thank you. Thank you again. Thank you. Definitely grateful for that. And if you feel that everything that I'm saying here resonates with you, definitely talk about it. Share my channel if you feel like it's something that is worth sharing, and keep subscribing. I'm really happy to see more faces, and definitely don't be shy. Introduce yourself down below, and if you have any thought, anything, any single thing, definitely let me know down below. And if you have any idea into what you want me to say more here onto the channel, especially for the 2025, because there's a lot more things that we're gonna be talking about, definitely. And a lot more projects, because I have that book club that I'm talking about, not all the time, but I'm talking about it. If you want to deepen your own faith, right, your own confidence here, showing up on videos, being confident on video, and using your own faith and your own relationship with Christ into such a way where you're discovering your own purpose, your own uniqueness, definitely the channel is probably gonna be for you. And it's gonna be a lot more. If you want to join the book club, definitely let me know down below. Just write book club and I'm gonna send you an invite. And we're probably gonna start with the planning and all the specifics in 2025. And I already have a list of books, a lot of books actually. I don't even know what to start with. Like, there's a lot, but in a good way. It's a good problem. But I can't wait to hear from you, and I'm gonna see you for another video. And like I say all the time, keep smiling, because it's cool, fun, and contagious in a good way. Bye.